Welcome to the Convention Creatives, where convention chaos meets artistic ambition.
I'm PB, peanut butter, knee-deep in digital paintbrushes, pixel canvases, and the occasional panic attack.
And I'm Jay, don't have a panic attack now, your wide-eyed convention explorer. And I have a million questions, and I don't have any filter.
No filter whatsoever. Together, we are diving into the fan art scene, UK conventions, and everything in between.
So I advise you grab your sketchbooks and your compasses, and we should get started. Come on!
Let's go.
You know where I'm going. There's nothing there, it's a door.
And let's fly out the window.
This is it. This is the Convention Creatives. This is the first episode. The very first episode. We're doing it. This is happening.
Crazy.
And it is crazy. As we said in our introduction, I'm Jay. This is PB, Peanut Butter. And we're really excited to do this. And we're so excited to take you along on the sort of crazy journey. Crazy for me. I'm very excited. This is a whole new world to me. It's very, very eye-opening, I think it's going to be.
Essentially, this is my everyday life, and I metaphorically put you in my suitcase and dragged you along.
Yes. It's going to be really interesting because for those of you who don't know, I think like this podcast for us really is about exploring artwork and art in general, creative ideas, cosplaying, the whole world of conventions, because I could just say it's about convention, but that's such a wide term. It's like conventions actually are such a wide scope of things these days, and it just covers a whole breadth of fan culture, pop culture, and it's really given an opportunity for us, one for you to share your wisdom, your advice, and the things you've learned, but also for me, someone who just a baby when it comes to all this, to learn and understand. I meant it in the intro. I have a million questions. I have 1,000,001 questions about how all of this works. Why do people do it? Why do we go? What does it involve? Yeah. I hope you're prepared for all those questions.
See, for me, this is one of two things. Firstly, for those who have been following my work for a fairly long time, they know that I have spent the majority of the last 4-something years posting on TikTok, especially tips, tricks on how to get into the convention scene, what events to work on, what events to avoid, it building your small business, if you want to create a certain different type of product, how to go about it, what is your expectation, how to deal with troubleshooting, and so on and so forth. And I always get a load of questions, even though I prepare the material for each thing. And this is a longer format version of that. While I'm teaching everyone out there, I'm also teaching a very close friend who is interested in my journey.
Yes.
I also want to find a way to dump all the knowledge that's locked in my head and pass it on to the next lot of people once I'm retired, because I'm grey already.
Old man convention now.
Old conventioneer.
Exactly. Whereas I would say I'm the new generation, but I'm definitely the uninitiated so far. Again, it's probably worth giving some context as to, one, like I said, our overall mission is just to share knowledge. So many people ask you all the time, me being one of them. So this seems the perfect way to get that information, but also just to share a spotlight on people around us, other people in this community who make things, who produce things, who put things together, who are just very avid convention goers, and also have a window into their experiences as well, which is quite exciting. But I say I'm a baby when it comes to conventions. I think it's worth pointing out that I was involved in conventions before. This is not my first time at the rodeo, but it was a very different time. I think for those of you who know me will know that I was involved in the convention called Summer of Sonic. A long, long time ago. Such a long time ago. I say that, it was like 2007, 2008.
Okay.
Yeah. And we were one of the first people to do a convention dedicated to a single video game character. And if I was really clever, I would show you the things on record. But not that I boast about it ever. But
wow.
Right. I'm holding a certificate for the participation of the Guinness World Record for, and this is the longest title ever, The first official fan convention for a single video game character, which is Summer of Sonic, which began in 2008. There you go, in London. There you go.
Well done. That's pretty impressive.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
That's really
However,
cool.
again, it was a very different time. It was a very different kind of convention because it was almost like an official convention. So it was all very licensed. There was no fan art. Nope, not allowed. All very licensed stuff. Conventions, as I see them now, are a completely different beast. Completely different beast. And I'm so eager to learn about it because when I was a kid, when you drew fan art, the furthest that could go is probably deviant art. That was the wildest it could go. And now
Yeah.
there are whole like creative industries around people making this stuff.
Correct. The mentality in general around fan art has evolved very much so, more so in the last even 5 years, I would say. When I started doing conventions here in the UK, the mentality of being a fan artist was already evolved, I would say, from the DeviantArt days, but nowadays it is a lot more accepted even by the companies we work with.
Yeah, so I've had my experience in conventions for certain, in a very more distant way, and a very long time ago. And I'm very much at a point in my life where I want to get back involved in a really intentional way. And I have been to conventions again recently, Sonicon being a particular example that sticks out as a really important one for me. And it made me think, oh, actually, I miss this sense of community. I miss seeing all these people together celebrating something and just having fun and being themselves. And I love seeing all the creativity there. And now I'm a case of like, how do I get back involved? And one of those methods is by using this podcast as a way to get that knowledge. But I
hope that this is the gateway for people to keep up with conventions out there throughout all of the UK and people who want to follow the UK scene even abroad, because not everyone has the means to be a part of every convention that we go to, but hopefully we can bring a small part of that event to everyone who follows it.
I think so. And I think people will be interested to join the journey. I hope you're listening and thinking that, yes, this is a journey I want to go on because we are ready to go on it with you. I think it's probably helpful for everyone as well because I know there'll be many people listening who know who you are, know what you do, but but we should not assume. And there might be some person who just randomly found us on Spotify and just click listen and go, who are these people? And I've waffled on about myself, but you're the one who does this for a living.
So my name is Gilles, and I am a full-time illustrator based in the UK. I am originally from Malta. When I lived in Malta, I went to one convention through my entire time there. I have been an illustrator for about 20 years, and the major portion of that time was purely online, doing commissions, selling t-shirts and paper products through third-party websites such as Redbubble, and then it moved to t-shirt websites like QWERTY and T-Fury and Shirt-A-Day websites like that. However, that accumulated enough of a following for me to want to do in-person events. I couldn't do so in Malta because the pool there of conventions was maybe one a year, and I decided to move to the UK where I do events full time. I would say that in a year, especially in a busy year, I usually do about 14 large events in a year, which is absolutely crazy and shattering. However, I have decided to now narrow it down and do conventions where I get to meet more of the people who follow my work, because to me, that is probably one of the best parts of going to con, to interact with the customers, because sales can be done online. But being at a convention, being in that ambient and thriving off it, being inspired as an artist and hearing firsthand from people who follow you and follow your work what they would like to see from you is literally like energy juice for motivation and creativity.
Would you say that's one of the main driving factors to why you do conventions? Because obviously there's a lot of artists who
100%.
sell that art in other avenues.
Yes, I would say conventions obviously are the bigger portion of profit for the livelihood of an independent artist like myself. That said, they are a lot of work. There is a lot of upfront costs that most people who go to con might not necessarily see. And it's a risky business because you can do really well or you can lose a fair bit of money.
Yeah.
But the constant at con is always the fantastic interactions with the people you meet there.
Yeah. So it sounds like you've been doing this for a while. How long have you been doing conventions?
I have started doing conventions in the UK March of 2019 from MCM Birmingham.
So that's a
About
fair few years
5 years now. 5, 6 years?
And I'm guessing every year you're learning new things and it's evolving and changing.
It is quite crazy to see that even in the 5 years that I have been doing conventions here, moving on to 6, conventions have changed so wildly with regards to fandoms that sell, what people are after, what type of products sell the most, the way that events are organized, the way that events are even booked. The booking systems are completely different. Who owns the largest conventions in the UK has changed in 6 years because companies have been sold, people have moved on. Some conventions have ended. Some new ones popped out of nowhere and became an essential to be at. So it is very fascinating. It is a very fast-paced, very hard-working industry actually to keep up with.
So if it's so fast-paced, and obviously we're now doing this together, to the journey of conventions and stuff, how do you feel about that? Is this, let's be open to our listeners because we want them to get to know us. Like, are you apprehensive? Does it feel weird? Like, because this is, you've never, like you said, you've done TikTok. You've sort of gone on TikTok. You've told people about, experiences and stuff. But this is obviously longer format. And therefore, it's going to be way more in depth and explore way deeper aspects of everything you've done. And you've never done podcasting before like this. How are you feeling?
I think that despite being a little bit tight on time, my schedule is always absolutely go, 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 go. There's no stopping. There's no breaks. I work on my art stuff about 12 hours a day, including Saturday, Sunday, unless I'm at a convention. And oddly, at weird gap between filling the van the day before we leave and setup day, those few hours are the only hours that I actually don't do anything. The rest is just work, 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 work. However, like you said, I have been doing this thing with TikTok for a while where I just explain my experience, and I cannot tell you how that actually changed the game for me in terms of this relationship that I have with my audience who learn from my mistakes and learn from my achievements and learn from my experience. And they come to conventions just to tell me how much they feel that they have gotten out of me sharing that experience. So regardless of how much time and effort this is going to take, I only feel it will potentially help more people. And that's the prime goal here. I have been wanting to do this now for a while, but I knew that there was no chance that with my knowledge and with my experience I'd be able to do something this big. And just like going to the gym, unless you have someone with you to motivate you and to be like, come on, it's time to go, let's do this. Something this big needs a buddy. And I found my buddy. I found the J to my PB.
Exactly. I am the jam. Or am I the jelly? Because jam don't shake. I'm not sure. It's fair to say that I view you as the wise sage of the convention team. You're we must ask him our one question we're allowed to ask him. At the top of the hill, we climb up, and you're there.
Please.
With your digital tablet, just sketching away.
I have this lovely relationship with many people who do con, where if they want any information that they feel I would know, they WhatsApp me, they ask me, what have you. If they want to be given an idea of how a certain product looks, a certain t-shirt layout, does it work, will it sell, too many colors, too little colors, what sizes do I get, blah, 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 they come to me. Even at conventions, we have many tools that we take in our van, and if anyone needs a stepladder, if anyone needs scissors, if anyone needs tape, they always know that we're probably the ones that are going to have more stationery than we need. I just love that. I love being the art uncle or art dad, and it's just What makes me feel good about being in this community is being able to be there for people who want to be a part of it. And this mostly stems because being in Malta, being isolated from any community that did art and fandom, I didn't have that. I
Yeah.
It was just me and few of my friends that liked what I used to doodle, and that was it. And I don't want anyone to feel that same kind of isolation. So they can come to the art daddy. Maybe not that. Maybe not that. They can come to me for help. Embarrassed. I'm actually embarrassed. Don't look at me. Look
Well,
over there.
while you're the art father,
The art papa.
art papa, I on the other hand am just a curious soul who's here for the ride. I might pick up some things and continuously annoy you with questions, which is why we've set up a whole podcast so I could just do that. So that's a bit about ourselves, about our wonderful selves, and what this podcast is and what we plan to do. And
Yes.
I'm very, very hyped for it. But shall we take a quick break before I start off with my first burdening questions?
You can, of course.
Let's take a quick break. And we're back.
Welcome back.
So, the conventions. There's so many of them.
Yes.
I don't understand. Help my brain. So, right. I have been to gaming conventions.
Yes.
There's a type I understand. You go there,
Yes.
there's video games. You play video games, you talk about video games. There is a gaming
Yes.
convention. But there are so many more, and I don't understand. Help me understand.
There's loads more. There's the classic comic conventions where it revolves more about people who have performed in blockbuster films as celebrities visiting. People go there to buy classic comics. The overall ambiance is a lot more like gravitating towards comic book heroes and signings of the sort. There's a lot more comic book vendors and indie comic book vendors. I would say that is the general type of convention that we get in the UK, and it is a massive multi-million industry. Then we have anime conventions, which we don't have as many bigger ones, but there are some big ones, which revolve more about voice actors. The ambiance is more obviously related to, I would say, more mainstream anime, unfortunately, because it would be nice to have more nostalgia and more niche titles, but obviously it is all about the cosplay of their people's favorite anime characters, more influenced by Japanese culture and Japanese art. And as you said, finally, there's different types of gaming conventions as well. And even within the game convention sector, there's different type of gaming. Because Games Expo, that is held at the NEC in Birmingham, is all about board games, only board games. And it is one of the biggest and busiest event in the UK. When I tell you it is potentially one of the most profitable events to be at,
a board
it's
game
crazy.
convention.
It's a board game convention which takes up massive amounts of NEC halls, bigger than MCM Birmingham. It is massive.
Are you winding me up?
No, it is a thing. And I would love to participate. But for some reason, it is one of those things that I always forget to apply to. Literally always forget to apply to. But a lot of our friends that you know as well,
Okay.
have been exhibiting to it. Even Printing Like Rabbits exhibits there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So it is a lot of board games. It's a lot of pen and paper RPGs. It is an amazing, amazing thing. And that is one subculture of gaming conventions that we have. We also have game expos like EGX, which is run by the same people who run MCM, and that is more targeted towards computer gaming and console gaming and things of the same genre. Then there's specific game related conventions, like you mentioned, Summer of Sonic. We currently have SonicCon UK. We also have conventions that are targeted, who are massive Final Fantasy conventions, like KupoCon, who do conventions in Glasgow. They do conventions in London. They do conventions in Montreal as well. There are so many. And the common denominator is that they are very fandom heavy. They are dedicated to things that people love, whether it is movie, anime, gaming, as we discussed. The element, another factor is that it gathers a lot of cosplayers, people who dedicate immense time, effort, and dedication into being there in costume. There's photographers, there's artists selling their art from all over the world, because even though we will be discussing the UK convention circuit, that does not mean that we're only going to have UK artists, because artists from all around the world come to exhibit at UK conventions. It's this massive gathering of geeks, basically, and where 10, 15 years ago, we had to hide and live in subtle shame for what we
Yeah.
love. Now these events are a celebration of the misfits and the basement dwellers that can just appreciate what they love in freedom. And it is
'Cause
wonderful. It's so cool.
one thing I do appreciate, and I understand as the few that I have been to, is that regardless of guests, performances, activities, it seems to always be one of the driving factors is the
Hmm.
ability to draw people together.
Yeah.
And I get that. I have friends who I love to bits, but
Hmm.
the times we see each other is at conventions. That's when we unite and hang out. And without that, I may not have the time to see them. So it's actually a really useful way of keeping in contact with those friends out in the world and our unique interests.
Too right. My social circle outside of conventions is so small, immensely, immensely small. I do
Yeah.
have friends who are not in the convention scene, and obviously I love them dearly, dearly. But the people who I get to spend most time with are the friends that I have within the convention circuit. People who either exhibit there or people who chronically visit every convention we are at, like their life depended on it, and we love them and we
Yes.
appreciate them.
Yes.
And people who are just into this culture, who were my friends, who now, because of what I do, started going to cons, and now we see each other a lot more regularly because we have these events that bring us together. It is a wonderful social experience.
Which then makes me wonder how what you does play into that in terms of a business. Because obviously it's very conventions, different genres, different niches, people come together, but then you're a business in that context, but you're also a part of the community as well. Because, like you said, even though you go there, it's your living to go there and to sell things and to create things for people to purchase, but you're also at the same time just as much involved in the community aspect of it and making friends, and you have these circles and people get to know
Yes.
you and people come back and forth. Is that something you've seen grow? Is it something that you didn't realize how influential the artist alleys and all these sort of stools and tables and their importance to what they bring to conventions?
I would say that people who are avid convention goers, right? No, I'm not talking about the families. I'm not talking about the grandma who brought her grandkids to look at Disney floats, right? We're talking about people who specifically live and breathe conventional culture, cosplayers, photographers, performers, all sorts. They appreciate all aspects of con. The meeting celebrities, the selling of figures, official figures. That's important. Official figures, not the other figures. We boycott them. But then there is this niche group of people like myself who spend their every waking hour dedicated to creating things that are a constant labor of love,
Yeah.
right? We spend weeks upon weeks between con designing new t-shirt designs, new enamel pins, new stickers that aren't just a brand made item. It is an item from a fan's perspective. It is an item made from the love and passion of a certain genre. And it is also our living in order to survive as artists. So I think nowadays in con culture, people almost prefer to buy a fan-made t-shirt than an official Primark t-shirt, for example, because they know that one, it will be more unique. It will be made from someone who, like them, absolutely loves the fandom that they're into. And also they are supporting an artist. And the wonderful thing that we get to hear as artists at these cons, even on social media, even on TikTok, even during the most trolling of trollage, you will always find people saying, I go there to buy things from independent artists and support people in Artist Alley, people like myself who are traders, not in Artist Alley. It's this mentality that has flourished over time, that supporting independent artists is the way to go when you are at a con. And I make my living out of that, which, trust me, I every day count my blessings to be able to do what I love, which is art, and not have to deal and work with a corporation, and instead just draw what I love. And there's these massive multitudes of people who just support what I do and enjoy what I do and allow me to continue on this journey. And it's a massive, massive blessing.
I love that.
Yeah.
My heart.
It is. It means a lot to me. I think that people who come to my table sometimes and are like, I have been following your work for so many years, or I have, look at how many pins, when they show me their ETA bags and turn around and there's like 10 of my pins at the back of their backpack. I don't think they realize how much gratitude I have in my heart that you, not only you keep me alive, right? But I have spent hours upon hours, sleepless nights working on those things because I love them.
Yeah.
And for a random stranger to love them too and want to have one of those things for themselves that I made is just the description.
It's a very special relationship for in a business sense, because obviously, like you said, like if you buy some licensed thing from Primark, it doesn't hold the same value in terms of what behind that artwork, what's behind that print, that people get when they actually see you in the thing. But if that's your relationship with, okay, I'm curious now, because if that you just talked a lot about your relationship with the community in terms of your customers, but you're not the only person selling stuff there. So is there equally a community between the artists?
That is a very different question. That's a very different question. I feel like, in general, artists very much get along and love each other and care for each other. At the core of it, I think we all find solidarity in understanding that we are all going through the same thing, and we all face the same challenges. And because of that, I have a very core group of artist friends. And by artist friends, I am not just saying people who specifically make art or sell art, but also table helpers, traders, people who sell t-shirts. My very close friend, Printing Like Rabbits, who you know, is a 3D printer artist. And that is what the term means to me. People who are, like us, convention creatives. That said, think within the artist community, there are a lot of battles as well that are constant. It's not always roses and whatever the saying is. I'm not really English, so I don't really know the saying. But you know what I mean. It's not always roses and sunshine. There you go. There is a lot of competition where there shouldn't be. There's a lot of entitlement when there shouldn't be. There's a lot of whispers behind each other's backs where there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is a community that I love, but we're a bunch of overgrown kids drawing cartoons and selling them at a market. It's not that serious. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's not that serious. You don't need to talk to people like what you do is running a country. But unfortunately, this happens in all communities. I have friends who are very, very popular cosplayers. And even within that community, even with their status as potentially some of the most popular cosplayers in the country, they still see this cliquey vibe and people telling other people off for the smallest kind of
Yeah.
thing. There is this animosity in any community. But yeah, we're not here for that. And
Yeah.
we're not like we're not here for that, not only on this podcast, but in general, even at con, I'm not there for that. That is why I have my group of friends that we go to eat after every con in the evenings. We discuss what went well, what went wrong. If anyone is stressed about anything with regards to, for example, on setup day, they haven't finished early enough, and they're not done. They're going in early the next day. We gather, we go help them finish setup, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit of a con family.
Yeah. It sounds like family. And with family, there's always that sibling that you don't like.
There's always the creepy uncle in the corner.
Exactly. Get away, Uncle Jeffrey.
Not Uncle Jeffrey.
Not Uncle Jeffrey. I wonder if that's something that happens in cons all around the world. I wonder if it's just. In fact, have you noticed anything that's specific about the UK scene that's different?
There's a lot of things that are different in the UK scene, in fact. One of the big things that is different is how artist alleys are run. Firstly, up until, I want to say, just past COVID, we didn't have an artist alley. Even at MCM, it was called Comic Village, and what you could sell there was strictly non-fandom. It needed to be all original work, and it needed to be paper products. You could only have a very small percentage, if anything, and please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, because I've never actually applied for Comic Village, but as far as I can remember, you were only allowed a small portion of, for example, enamel pins. Mostly, you could only sell paper products. Where nowadays, Artist Alley is allowing a little bit more fandom, but technically, you're still pushed into mostly selling original work. Where in the States, for example, Artist Alley is where you sell fan art.
Yeah.
And it has
Okay.
been that way for as long as I remember. There's a lot of different parallels between what is allowed here and what isn't allowed. For example, in Europe, there is a very, very strict policy against certain franchises for selling fan art. Whereas here, you get approached by a representative from the company at hand. If they want you to remove anything, they come alongside trading standards and they tell you, listen, can you put this in the back, please? We would like you to remove it. If you refuse, then obviously steps are taken against that. Whereas in places like France, there has been reports of the representative bringing along their team, seizing the stock and destroying it. They would
Bloody
literally
hell.
come and tear up your t-shirts because they have Pikachu or Sonic on them, and it's not allowed.
Yeah, well, we're not going to sell our wares in those places.
We're not going there. No, not until I fully know what is allowed, what isn't allowed, and go from there. However, in the UK, I'm fairly knowledgeable about the yays and nays of selling fan art, so we're good.
But wait, if that's like you said, if there's that many differences between countries, for example, it's
Yeah.
like America's like woohoo fan art, and we're like only recently more embracing the variety of products and fan art and stuff in art in terms of Artist Alley, and then we have some countries that basically like we will burn your stock if we find it. Is there any variance just between conventions themselves in the UK? Or are they fairly consistent in terms of what you can and can't do, what they like, what they don't like?
There are differences. I will just correct myself in saying that I said, because there will be a listener out there who'll be like, actually, I did say that fan art is allowed in Artist Alley because that is what Artist Alley is known in the US. That is what it is known for. However, because many IPs belong to American voice acting companies, they are also very strict into do not have Pokemon at the table, do not have Disney at the table, because that is their home base, right? I think the UK is probably the most lax when it comes to selling fan art. That said, to answer your question, there are conventions that will allow artists, but there is no fan art at them, that they promote purely original work. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If anything, I think it is a good opportunity for people to push forward their own projects. Every artist has their own personal projects that is original work. Some of us just choose to not put it to the forefront because since we want to survive, original work just doesn't sell as much as fan work does,
Yeah.
you know. But yes, there are very clear differences between what is allowed and what isn't. Maybe this is not in my best interest to say, but another major interest is that, for example, selling fan art in London is a lot riskier than selling fan art in, say, Birmingham or Manchester.
Why?
Because the trading standards team of London is a lot more hands-on in appearing at the Excel, at the Olympia, and checking every table possible to see if there is anything that is out of bounds. Whereas with something like MCM, for example, they bring the trading standards team from London, right? However,
Right.
any other event that is in Birmingham, there is never any trading standards. It is very, very rare to see anyone. In Manchester, same. They either never show up or they show up and are like, no Pokemon this time. Everyone pack your Pokemon stuff. It is very different. It's very hit or miss. But we use that to our advantage, or alternatively, we learn how to deal with that kind of situation
Yeah.
because there is a good way to deal with that, and there is a very bad way to deal with
Always do the good way.
that.
um, but wait, if training standards do come to your table, what is the like? You say there's a good way and a bad way. What's the good way? Because I wouldn't know.
So I would say the best advice I can give about that is something that a close friend of mine, Lizzie, said to me the first time that trading standards came up to me, and I was immensely freaked out. And she came up to my table and she stood by me and she said, "This is the way to deal with this. Listen to everything that they have to say when they essentially address you as you, the owner of the table, right? Because they always want to speak to the person that the booking is under. You will never be able to have a proxy or a table helper talk to them because you're the person in charge. The booking is under
Yeah.
your name. And you say, what can I do and what can I remove from my table in order to continue trading today? And that's it. Keep your calm.
Yeah.
They will explain, they will point out a set of items out, and you will take those items, you will put them in the back, and you will say to yourself, not today for these, it will be another event, it will be another time. That's it. And you continue selling the rest of the amazing things that you took with you. I have had many things removed throughout my years of doing cons, from enamel pins that showed Harley Quinn, from enamel pins that showed It, Pennywise, lots of Pokemon stuff over time, but as long as you're respectful, they will treat you with respect back. The moment that you're like, no, but that person over there also has Pokemon, no, they will list you down and they will find you every time. Never give lip, because this is a government agency. And like I said, you are an adult drawing cartoon. They're just there to do their jobs. They're representing companies and they're
Yeah.
upholding consumer rights, basically. You need to respect them.
Yeah.
It's not easy because it gives the anxiety it gives you as soon as trading standards come to your table. Trust.
I can imagine. We'll
Your
probably
heart
find
races out of your chest. And actually, maybe I shouldn't be revealing this like on the third podcast, but I am a very, very close friend with Illustrator Jake. Illustrator Jake and I met when Trading Standards came up to their second convention that they've ever done, which was in MCM London. And back in the day, Jake mostly sold Kirby. So much Kirby.
Yeah.
The table was pink, not because of the tablecloth, because there were so many pink pins. There were Kirby everywhere. Magical Girl Kirbys, Sonic Kirbys, Nintendo Kirbys, all the Kirbys.
Yeah.
Trading Standards came with a representative from Nintendo and said, there's literally too much Kirby. We want you to shut down your table. Jake was Casper White and just gutted by the situation. But we were still inexperienced. We were still brand new. Second convention for him, second convention for me. And we didn't know how to deal with it properly at the time. Of course, it resolved itself in its own way, but that fear of having your entire table shut down at an MCM
Yeah.
is terrifying. And through that experience, Jake and I became immensely close. So good
Friendship
thing
through.
that they shut him down, I guess. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. But
Right.
now, all the Sonic Con things and so on, so
Yeah.
doing good.
Yeah. Doing very well.
Thriving. Thriving.
Because it's people doing their job, and obviously you need to do what you can because you're doing your job.
Yeah.
It's your job. And like, so everyone needs to get along. It's important that people respect the fact that they're doing their job, because at the end of the day, you need to do your job and they are a part of it. They're literally a part of it. And I think people listening will probably get this, but in case they don't, maybe fellow artists as well who are just maybe at the very baby steps. They like drawing, and maybe one day they'd like to do that. I'm curious what you would say to those sort of people to understand why you think conventions are vital for artists and fans, I guess, as well.
Well, the reality is very, very simple, actually. If you think about it, like, even if you go to the supermarket, right,
Yeah.
you always end up buying things you don't need,
Yes.
right? Whereas when you're shopping online, you need to shop with intent. When you have the opportunity to exhibit at a convention, people are in having the time of their life. They're in the best moment. And if you have something that they want, unless they are immensely, immensely disciplined, chances are they're going to buy the thing.
Yeah.
Right? And when people buy the thing, you as an artist are going to be motivated to do more, to draw more,
Yeah.
to do more events, to push yourself further and better yourself as an artist. But also, you'll be able to pay the bills. That is why going to a convention is very important.
And I would say, as someone who goes to these sort of things, the few that I have been to, there's something very, I think one of my favorite parts of a convention is going to like an artist alley or a dealer's area. Because again, I think there's something, the range of products you see and the fact that you get to speak to the people who made them. And I think that also gives you an insight into why the art looks the way it does, why they felt the need to do this choice or this choice. And you really get a better understanding. I think it brings much more significance to the products that they're selling because you can have that understanding. And
Yeah.
I've always really appreciated that someone on the other side of it, that you can't get that experience anywhere else, I don't think, really.
Yeah.
I think it's so rewarding. And like everything I've ever purchased, literally everything I've ever purchased at a convention, just means more to me than the stuff I bought from Shorts.
Of course.
It really does.
Because you are not just purchasing, because you are not only just purchasing an item, you're not just purchasing an enamel pin, you're not just purchasing a sticker, you're purchasing an interaction and a memory.
Yeah.
You are essentially making that item important because you're tying it with that lovely weekend you had with your friend. You're talking to that artist that you followed on social media who is talking to you back, and you're fulfilling that parasocial
Paranormal.
you're fulfilling
you
that
at a table as a ghost, just floating behind the table. Buy my pins.
It's paranormal. You're fulfilling that parasocial relationship, and you're actually making a friend. You know,
Yeah.
you're supporting an artist. You're showing your support to what they do, what they love, what you love, and it just makes everything more special.
Yeah.
All the t-shirts I wear are from artist friends or my own because I love my own.
As you should.
And thank you. It's just overall a much better and more rewarding shopping experience. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lost my train of thought. But
Yeah.
yes, that is it. This camera is very possessed.
It's because you're a paranormal trader. Where are you? Where is he? He's there. He's there.
Where is he? Where is he? But you see what I mean when I say I fumble my English sometimes. So you and our guests guests and our listeners will have to deal with me fumbling my words a lot.
No more than I have to deal with me fumbling mine every moment of every day. I will say, like I said, it's the relationship that people who go to these conventions have with people who buy stuff. That, like you said, that parasocial relationship does exist, and I think it does bring an extra layer to the products that you sell. But again, like they're supporting, but they're not just purchasing something they like. They're supporting your livelihood. They're supporting your means to exist. At the end of the day, it's not easy. Like, one thing I do appreciate is you don't just rock up and your table's there fully laid out, stocked. And I feel like a lot of people who probably, like regulars, for example, of yours, probably understand through your TikTok the work and effort that go into these stuff. But do you ever feel there's any big misconceptions for people who attend these cons about what traders do, the work that goes into it?
I 100% think that, and this is obviously with all due respect, because at the end of the day, I feel that organizers are a key part of having cons. The people who make the con, i.e. the celebrities, the vendors, the artists, they are a key part of the con. The attendees are very obviously an important part of the con. So that is knowledge we all have, right?
Yes.
And we appreciate the people that come to con. That said, the level of knowledge that they exhibit in having on their social media comments is very baseline, non-existent. They rock up, they have a great time, they complain about whatever, and go back home. And this isn't everyone. This is like the 10%.
Yeah.
But that 10% make it very clear that there is a massive subsection of people who attend conventions that have no clue how anything actually runs.
Yeah.
They complain about security at an event, not realizing that the organizers have literally no say in the security. They are either part of the venue or they are a foreign entity that is employed by the venue.
Yeah.
The organizer is not their employer. They cannot go up to them and tell them, no, this is what I want. Because unless that is cleared in their first meeting, then you're not changing your mind now. It is not happening, right? And this is factual with many different aspects. And I'm sure we will have a very lengthy conversation specifically about that. A funny thing I don't think you know, is that many people come to my table, and unless they know me from social media, they don't know I'm an artist. They just think I buy my stuff from China. And they talk to me like, so where did you get this from?
Really?
I found it in the bin.
So you telling me there are people who come up to you and basically think this is an elaborate car boot set?
100%. The amount of times that people ask me what company made these products, where did I buy them from, right? Is the artist here? Like, yeah, I know I'm a ghost, but it is I. It is I. People just assume I don't. It's not it. This is not it. You know. So yeah, there are people who are absolutely clueless as to when they see a certain type of table, unless it's in Artist Alley, maybe, or unless it's like the art dealer section. I think they assume that if you're in the trader section, you must be a trader. You must get all your stuff from AliExpress and try to resell it. There is a lot of misconceptions. Too many to list down in a simple question like that. Trust me, it is wild. And that is why we started this podcast. So maybe people will start to learn.
Get those misconceptions out the window and into the bin.
Yes, maybe people will learn that it does take about 6 to 8 hours to set up our tables before the show starts the day before. Yeah. Maybe they will learn that when they hang around at the end of a convention, when they're told, please exit the building, please exit the building, it's because it's going to take us another 5 hours to dismantle everything, and then we have to drive in our vans for 3-4 hours to try and get home before 11 in the evening, after being shattered for 3 days, hooking 12 hours a day.
Yeah. So note to people listening, when you're in a convention and they say, please leave the building, that means, please leave the building. It's time to leave.
The time has come. I know you're having fun,
Have fun outside.
Not in the cold. I know you're having fun, but it is not the last convention of all life in existence.
Yeah.
There will be another one. You'll have more fun next time.
I think you've answered all my questions that I have on my mind today. I think we've covered a good scope of all the variety of broader questions, which I think gives me a good setup.
I'm quite impressed by your questions. They're very good questions.
They're very good questions. I thought of them all by myself, whittling away my little brain. My two brain cells.
That definitely makes it sound like you did not come up with these questions.
How dare you? How very dare you?
It just sounds like you've read them online.
The absolute audacity and cheek. On that note, we're going to go for a break before I give you the world's most horrendous dilemma of your life. Right, and we're back, and I'm quite looking forward to this because I've been asking you questions, been making you talk on end about your experiences, which I'm very grateful for. So thank you. Yeah. And I can't wait to do it for many, many episodes to come. However, I think generally the questions have been quite nice.
Okay.
Quite pleasant. Mm-hmm. You know, just ask my experience. But I think sometimes you need to be actually put on the spot and challenged a bit. Yeah. I think sometimes we need to put PB in a bit of a pickle. And by doing so, I have made a segment entirely by myself, never done before, first of its kind, brand new, crazy, inventive, amazing, fantastic, called, you ready?
Yeah.
Called Choose It or Lose It.
Oh no, scary.
What you lose will be determined later, but...
My dignity, probably.
You, good sir, are going to be provided with two options, and you have to pick one. And there's no like, oh, well, what if I travelled in time or became a fairy and erased the options? Like, you have to pick one, all right?
Became a fairy? Don't you know I'm already one?
Became a fairy godmother then. She is mother.
Mother.
You are going to be given two choices, and I want you to think about it, because these are important decisions, you know. These are like, you know, life-changing choices you're going to make, and you have to pick one, and I will make you live by this decision for the rest of your life, no matter how fantastical the scenario is.
My God. Okay. All right. I'm
ready.
Just a little bit scared, but overall, I'm ready. I'm excited.
It's fine. Okay, let me get myself ready. Right, okay, so you're on a cliff. You're always going to be on a cliff.
Why am I on a cliff?
Because that's where dramatic things happen, all right?
Okay.
You're on a cliff.
I'm on a cliff.
And you have to choose it or lose it. By guess, I mean just walking off the end.
This is very dark.
So, which one are you going to choose? Or are you going to lose it? Which apparently in this context is your mortality. Option one, you're going to continue your life creating, going to conventions with the risks, the good times, the bad times, the massive profits, the times where you make massive losses, like the risks and roller coaster life that it is being a convention artist. Or you can go to your next convention, have the most successful, life-changing convention you've ever had, where you bring in so much money, you're set for life. But if you do that convention where you're set for life, you can never do anything creative ever again. So the options are, you're set for life, but you cannot make anything creative at all. Can't draw, can't do a podcast, you can't do anything creative. You have to be creatively dead. Or would you continue with the ups and downs of con life?
I would say that this is probably the easiest scenario you could present to me with.
This is so episode 1.
This is the easiest. This is rookie mode. Okay. This is rookie mode. I will 100% choose to quit by. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Whoa! Whoa!
I would 100% choose to stay on this journey, because if I look back where I started as a young queer kid on an island that had no fandom, no comic conventions, no nothing, and told doodling cartoons and anime in art class would amount to absolutely nothing. And today I have my platforms, I have my audience, I have the love for what I do. We were away for New Year's Eve and being surrounded by artists and creatives, I was jotting down mental notes about what I'm going to do when I get back home. It is in my blood. It is not something I can put away. Regardless of how many hiatuses I'm on, or regardless of all the changes I decide to make in my life, I will always come back to this. So we'll take on the struggle and we'll make it work.
Okay. I can't tempt you with never having to worry about money ever again.
What am I going to do with it? I mean,
I don't
obviously,
know.
I would know
Buy
what to do
horses.
with
I
it.
don't know.
Nah. Life is too short to waste on not being creative when you're born to create.
Born to create.
That is what I'm here for.
You know what? I respect the answer. You don't have to lose it. You can live another day. It's fine.
I will not lose it. The edge is not there to jump off of today.
Okay, back away. Back away.
Back away. No. I'm very happy with this journey. Besides, it makes me meet really exciting new people and make really cool friends.
I agree. Very much agree. So that's it. We've done it. We've done our first episode. Can you believe it? Can you believe?
It's crazy.
We survived.
Can you believe?
Can you believe?
Oh my God, Jonathan Vanessa.
And also, thank you to everyone listening for joining us for our first episode.
Yes.
I hope you've had a good time. I hope you've been listening. I hope you're taking notes, because there will be a test. There won't be a test, but there could be a test, and then would you be prepared?
Maybe. Yeah.
I hope there's not a test for me, because that'd be very stressful. If you did enjoy it.
We're a bunch of autistic and ADHDers, man. We're not doing any tests. How are we kidding?
We wear the labels with pride. But there's more. Firstly, if you've listened to this one and thought, you know what, this has been interesting. I've quite enjoyed this. These two people are, a joy to listen to, because we are. There's more episodes. In fact, if you're listening to the first episode right now, there's literally another episode you can listen to right now.
Click on it.
Click on it. Just if you want to, just click on it.
Go listen. No. No, if you want to, just do it.
Just do it. I mean,
what else are you gonna do?
Exactly.
What else are you going to listen to while you're doodling or having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Exactly. So I encourage you guys, listen to the next one. In fact, if you've enjoyed this episode at all, before you even begin listening to the next episode, if you haven't already, please subscribe. If there's a follow button, press it. If there's a subscribe button, press it. If there's a follow along, but if there's a button, press the button next to the podcast, please. Click it. You also, and I can't stress this enough, this is so important. If you like the show, go to your favorite podcasting platform and rate us 5 stars.
Yay!
I promise you, there are many things in the world you could do, but rating us 5 stars is probably one of the most helpful things you can do for a new podcast. So please go to 5 stars. If you didn't love it, please rate us 5 stars. We'll never bother you ever again. Okay?
Yes.
Just go there, rate us 5 stars. It will mean the world to us. You can also follow us on all our social media as well.
Yes.
The links will be in the description because, fun fact, at the time of recording, we don't know what they are yet, but they'll be in the description. You'll find them there.
We're building step by step.
Exactly. So follow us on social, rate us 5 stars, subscribe to the podcast, listen to the next episode. Love it. If you're listening on Spotify, firstly, hello, you can see us. But also, if you're listening on Spotify, you can leave a comment on the episode.
Yes, let us know what you think about the podcast, about what we said. Let us know what you want to share with us about your experience in the UK or international convention circuit. Tell us your favorite thing about cons.
Yes, please do. And maybe tell me if you would be creative or give it up for money. Would you sell your soul for money? Because apparently it's a really easy question, but I would take the money. But yeah, that's fine.
Tell me you're a normie without telling me you're a normie. Wow.
Wow. We really love doing this. It's been super fun. We can't wait to take you on this journey with us.
Yes.
If you are listening at launch, you'll be very excited to know that both of us are going to be at MegaCon Live.
Yes.
January 25th and 26th at the XL London. Come say hello. Come say, hey, we listened to this and we loved it. Podcast. And if you were indifferent on it, just come say hello and be nice to us because we're very sensitive souls. So just be nice, yeah.
Be nice, please. Thanks.
Be nice, please. We will be at MegaCon Live. It's my first big con. Go big con in general, but also going as
Yeah.
someone who's maybe behind the table, doing
Yeah.
all sorts of creative things. I'm sure, even though I said I'd give up all my creativity for money, but in this example, I won't. I want to actually do something creative.
And
So
you'll be not just going to a convention. You're not just going to a convention at the Excel, which only the biggest conventions happen at the Excel. You will not even be attending Artist Alley, which is the smallest. Well, not actually. Creators tables are the smallest, and then Artist Alley, and then trader tables. You are going to be in a corporate booth. Big boy.
she's hit the big time.
Yes.
So if you want to meet Peanut Butter and Jelly, then you need to come along and say hi to us. I'm very excited. It's going to be great fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
We'll see you there.
Until next time, which if you're
Bye.
listening, bye.
Bye.
Why do you sound haunted again? We are paranormal.
Why am I haunted? What's happening? Stop it. What?
Stop it! I'm not spooky.
I'm not Casper. What?
Funny.
Is that it? Are we done?
That's it. No.
You have to include that.